Hi, and welcome back to the garden. If you're new here, my name's Matthew, and I garden in Southwest Ohio. If you're not new here, welcome to tackling a part of the garden I've not shown you very much on camera. This area has been an eyesore for quite a period of time, from the 1.5 years ago that I moved into this place. And today, we're going to be planting by number with the Southern Living Plant Collection. Stick around as we go from this to this. So this is the south area of the house. It receives a good amount of sun, but as you can see, as the sun's setting, it's about 6 o'clock here in the evening, it is protected from the really harsh sunlight. Last year, I was scrolling along Instagram, I believe it was, and I stumbled across this company that was planting in landscape fabric or contractor's paper with circles on it. And I was like, this is really interesting. It's a pre-made map so you can plant without having to worry about spacing. So for years, I've talked about the issues I sometimes have with spacing in the garden. And as a new gardener, I know determining how far apart to space plants can be really difficult. So Plant by Number made it simple. You can see the contractor's paper behind me. They offer both a landscape fabric printed or contractor's paper. You know, for years in my garden, I've used contractor's paper, and for most of the garden spaces in this garden I've been building over the past 1.5 years, I've used contractor's paper directly over grass to create new flower beds. So let's take a look at that. So I've got 5 plants from Southern Living Plant Collection I'm going to talk about, but I want to show you this contractor's paper first, also known as landscape paper. You can see on here that they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 different varieties like I mentioned, and multiples of each. This is going to be a pollinator garden with some beautiful plants in it. You just cut through the fabric where you want to plant your plant. The fabric is also really thick and nice. If you live in areas where there's like turf type tall fescue, or the northern climates here, like in Ohio, where we have cool season grasses, oftentimes you can get away with just laying this down on top of grass after you've mowed it down, and then you won't have a whole lot of grass come up. If you're concerned about grass, you may want to remove that grass first and then put the contractor's paper or landscape fabric down. Let's take a look at the space a few weeks ago. So as you can see, since that time, I've come through and restacked a rock wall here. Looked pretty rough. There was a couple of old viburnums here that I was pretty allergic to. Some peonies here that I dug up and transplanted into the cut flower garden. And most of all, a lot of weeds. And because this is southern facing, I needed to find the right plants to plant them with. So these garden design maps start out at $25, so they're relatively inexpensive. If you were buying contractor's paper yourself, you would pay almost that much at Lowe's, and to have something nicely designed and planned out is perfect for you. If you don't like any of their pre-made designs, you can buy them with or without the plants, or you can hire them to custom make you one with plants from their website. So let's take a look at some of these gorgeous plants. So when we were designing this pollinator garden, we have some evergreens that will serve as nice habitats for pollinators in the winter, but there's also a beautiful white wedding hydrangea here. You know, when I saw hydrangea, it was all for me. So white wedding is a nice one. Can get 5 foot tall, 3 foot wide, 5 to 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide. And it produces a ton of blooms. So as a paniculata, it blooms on new wood. So if you do need to prune it, you can prune it about any time. But if you prune it in early spring, late winter, that will be the best for your area. If you live in areas where you have cold climates with lots of ice or snow load, sometimes I recommend to prune those in the fall so they do not break over winter from ice load. So I'm going to set this hydrangea down where it goes in the plant by number configuration, and then we'll move on to the next one. So the Southern Living Plant Collection has a lot of great shrubs here for Zone 6. One of those is this touch of gold holly, really beautiful holly with yellow tips here. So as it matures, the leaves turn green, but it's always got some yellow on it. It stays shorter than it does wider, so roughly 2 foot tall by 4 foot wide. And it is a part shade to full sun location plants. So Touch of Gold holly is hardy down to zone 6 as well, and it's a holly that you can actually get around and trim up if you need to. It's not pokey, so it could also work good nice to sidewalks as well. So you've probably seen Forever Goldie before. I plant a lot of Arborvitae in my garden because they just do really well here in Southwest Ohio. They stay green throughout the winter, and they perform amazingly in the summer for us and add a lot of evergreen interest. Forever Goldie stays this gold/green color here throughout the season, and it gets a roughly 10 to 12 foot tall and 3 to 3.5 foot wide. So one of the reasons I have a lot of yellow in this planting here is yellow is important in the landscape. When you're designing a landscape, you want reds, and so I picked it to marry this Japanese maple beautifully. Blues, which I have a blue cypress down here in the bed next to it, yellows, and then we have greens and grays here from a butterfly bush. So this butterfly bush provides a nice gray color for the garden as well, and its name is 𝗩𝗜𝗗𝗘𝗢. It's really cute. It has really nice big blooms on it for the pollinators, and it's not in the Southern Living plant collection, but it is a sister brand called Butterfly Candy. They have a lot of different color butterfly bushes on the website for Butterfly Candy butterfly bushes, and this is just going to be a nice white to complement some of the other blooms and textures and foliages in this collection. Now this next one I'm really excited to show you. I think when I was unboxing these I may have gasped. If you pulled the security footage you could probably hear me gasp on the audio there. But it's pink Suntastic Abelia. So Abelias are great pollinator plants as well. They bloom in the spring, summer, and then they provide, especially this one, a lot of color, texture, and variegated foliage for this arrangement here. So Abelias are typically hardy down to zone 6. This one is as well, and it gets roughly 2 to 3 foot tall and 3 to 5 foot wide. So it'll be a nice statement shrub for the side of the house in the south facing area right here as well. So now you can see how these plants are kind of laid out immediately in the circle that was presented on the paper from Plant by Number. I chose to put the Forever Goldie Arborvitae here on the corner. I may scooch it a little bit this way to bring some weight to this corner here because the next bed is kind of raised here, but this will eventually get 10 to 12 foot tall and 3 to 4 foot wide. So I don't want to move it too far where it's encroaching on the brick foundation, but it'll be a nice tall structure here to bring some interest along next to the Japanese maple. We have the two Abelias placed either way apart here, and the Touch of Golds on each end. You'll notice the Touch of Gold is low. It only gets 2 foot tall, and so it still allows me easy access to the hose bib there to hook up hoses for. And then the Hydrangea is spaced just slightly left of the window to still allow some light in the office there. Now the circles on the Plant by Number indicate about the approximate size these plants will be when they reach their full maturity, and so in the meantime you could interplant with perennials if you desired, but this gives me a good indication visually, because I'm very much a visual learner myself, of what these are going to kind of look like over the years as they get more mature and established. And planting in these is relatively simple. You take your razor blade and cut a little X and then dig your hole, plant the plant, and then you mulch with wood chips or your favorite mulch of choice. I'm going to go through and cut all of these now and we'll get them planted. So all of these landscape papers come rectangular. They can make multiple depths of bed. This bed's in the paper is about 5 foot deep and 16 foot long. This is not a perfectly rectangular bed, right? So you just trim the excess that you don't need, or if you're using the landscape paper like I am, you can fold it under, which will help with some additional weed suppression. I'm going to grab my auger and get to planting all of these things in the ground. I'm going to add some good organic fertilizer when I do so. I also, you may notice there's a drip irrigation line on the back there. I'm going to tap into there and give these shrubs some drip irrigation since it is south facing, and I want to make sure they get established well over this summer. And then we'll be good to go to cover with some mulch and wood chips. Y'all, this is what planting success looks like. That was super easy, and now I don't have to worry about them getting too big like I sometimes do. Sometimes I have regrets when I plant things and realize later that they're getting a little bigger than I liked. But so let's talk a little bit, and I'll go over the shrubs one more time. The Southern Living Plant Collection makes a great collection of shrubs. They're just super easy to use. They're meant to be kind of low maintenance, so you can spend time enjoying outdoors rather than working so much on each individual shrub in your garden. Let's take a look one more time. So I really like how this area ended up. It's not such an eyesore anymore when you go towards the pool area. So we have the touch of gold holly, which is a non-prickly holly, which will be really nice and a great yellow accent next to the Japanese maple. We also have the Forever Goldie Arborvitae, which is also going to pair nicely off the same colors here, and the Japanese maple. The pink Suntastic Abelia, which is really beautiful, that variegated foliage. A little coconut butterfly bush from the Butterfly Candy Collection. White Wedding Hydrangea. Another pink Suntastic Abelia, and another touch of gold holly. And it leaves me just enough room here to put a hose reel for the hose. And neither of these shrubs will get too big to impede hose access. That's always something when you're designing and putting shrubs around your garden. Make sure you still have good hose access. Now, as for the drip irrigation, I inserted a 1 gallon emitter for each shrub, except the hydrangea. That was a 2 gallon per hour emitter, and the butterfly bush was a 1/2 gallon per hour emitter. I planted the butterfly bush a little tall because that's something you want to do with butterfly bushes. They like to be dry. That's why I used only a 1/2 gallon per hour emitter. When I run my irrigation, I typically run it for 30 minutes. So that means that hydrangea will only be getting, or that butterfly bush will only be getting like 1/4 of a gallon at the time. And after it's established, I can pull that emitter out so it's not getting water anymore if it's getting too much water. But I think it'll be happy here. This is a pretty sunny spot. Should be perfect conditions. And as for the mulch, I just use a wood chip mulch for most of the garden in the backyard. I like the natural look of it. It breaks down really slowly and feeds the plants. And it also breaks down slowly, so I don't have to mulch again quite as often. Thank y'all for joining me on this project this evening and planting with me. Take care, and remember, be a light.